All right, guys, I'm at it again, cooking. It's scary. I don't know. This probably isn't a great idea, but I'm gonna do it because when we're not good at things, we just gotta keep trying. So I'm trying my hand today at chicken pasta primavera. Do you remember in our last episode, I told you that I'm horrible at cooking. So we're doing something kind of dangerous today. I'm cooking. So we're gonna see how this goes, but I'm not gonna do it alone. The cooking master is here.
I don't know about that.
It's true. To help me learn how to cook.
I think the difference is in cooking. I think it's just if you enjoy it or not. Like, I enjoy cooking. I love it. And baking and all that.
Oh, baking for
feeding
sure.
my family.
No.
Oh, really?
No, it's worse than
I
cooking.
love it. So I think that's kind of the difference.
Yeah.
I love feeding people.
I like eating, but I don't like cooking. I just want to eat the food. I don't want to make it.
I want to eat the food and I want to smell how delicious it is, and I want to eat it, and then I don't want to smell it ever again.
Oh, no.
In my house until it's time to make it again.
Yes.
I don't like this. I hate the smell. Like, we've got garlic right here and I'm going, oh, I'm hungry and I can smell it. Smells good. When we're done eating,
no, it's got to go.
all the windows are coming open and I'm getting rid of that smell.
Bacon is the worst. So delicious, but the smell after, no.
It's so horrible.
It's not good.
How can
It's
something
gotta
so
go.
delicious
I know.
reek so bad afterwards?
Yes, so bad.
So the reason that we are doing this is because with all of us going back to work and school and everything, time is limited. We don't have all day long to sit there and feed families and stuff. We have a limited amount of time.
Yes.
And we want it to have veggies, we want it to be somewhat healthy, and we want it to be delicious. But it's a hard balance to have, I think. And, you know, to have something that's really good, seems gourmet, but is simple and easy.
Yes, which this is going to be good for me because recipes, I mean, it'll say it takes 30 minutes. It takes me an hour and a half.
It takes me an hour and a half too sometimes.
Oh,
like,
good.
Whew, it's all a lie, guys. When it
Yeah.
says 30-minute prep time, they mean an hour and a half. If they say 15-minute, it's 30. Like, it's always double. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So
this is something we talked about before, but this is one of my problems with cooking is I don't know how to cook. So when it tells me to do something, I do it. And then sometimes that's not what you should do, even though the recipe told you to. So you said, because when you have that experience and you know, then you can kind of mess around. Or this recipe, she's made lots of times and figured out the tips and tricks. So we're going to give you those here so that you can do it right the first time, because recipes lead you astray.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying is my problem. It's the recipes. It's not my fault.
It's not her fault, guys.
Ever.
It's not. She doesn't ever forget it in the crock pot.
No. Or forget to plug in the crock pot before you leave the house. That has never happened to me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I shouldn't share all of my stories today.
You'll learn. But today we're going to be making chicken pasta primavera, and this recipe is really delicious. Typically kids like it, even though there's cauliflower in it, and it's just really good. And there's some secrets to getting the right Alfredo consistency, because some people scald it, some people it will separate and gloop up on them, and there's just some problems. So we're going to talk about that because there's some ways to keep it from the cream from curdling and stuff, and some different cheeses and things that you want to think about, and as well as pasta options. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good little tutorial here.
Yes.
All right, let's get going.
Okay, here we go.
So this recipe goes so fast that you have to start your noodles like as you are like, yeah.
As you're making it.
Yeah, because it
Okay.
just goes so fast.
This is another problem I have, is like the timing of everything. If there's just like one thing, I can manage it. But when there's several things, then I'm like, I don't know what to do. And it's like, oh my gosh, the noodles are boiling
So
and I
many-
have to stir
yeah.
this. And
So many moving parts.
Yes.
It's like Thanksgiving. It's just like, I have to like make a whole list of everything I have to do in a certain order or I'm done.
yeah.
So the first thing we're gonna do is this recipe calls for the California style vegetables, like frozen vegetables.
Oh yeah, I love those.
And I think it's like a 12 to 16 ounce package. The problem is recently they have like shrunk the packages to 10 ounces. So
Oh.
I had to buy 2 packages so we'd have enough. But we can only just put in what we want. You know
Okay,
what I'm saying?
yeah, mhm.
And I already defrosted them in the microwave
Oh,
ahead of
smart.
time so that we're kind
See,
of...
I wouldn't have done that. I would have been like, oh my gosh, now the vegetables are frozen. So that's a good tip.
Yeah, so there's
Pre-
things that if you just do it ahead of time,
Thaw.
it's gonna help. So I've got things thawing, and now we're gonna start our water boiling for our pasta. Well, that, it takes a little while for that to get going. So we'll just,
boil.
Yep.
Do you know what I do? So I just turn it on and I put the noodles in. So it, even if it's, well, I usually get the water hot, but I just let the noodles cook as it boils.
oh,
Is that a good idea?
not great, because you can't, I mean, if you're watching, if you pay attention to it, then I guess, yeah. But if you want it al dente, like just right,
Yeah.
then you want it boiling, then you put in your pasta and then hit your timer
For that amount of time.
for that amount of time that it says. But
Because I don't time it either. I'm just like, oh, those seem like they're probably done.
And that's okay if you are watching it every second. We're gonna do it on a skillet because it makes it easier for all of you to see what we're doing,
Yeah.
and we're not like turned around at the stove.
Yeah, we don't want that.
No. So go ahead and put your butter in because we can start
Okay.
as it,
Can you guys, whoa, I just about dropped it.
and that's 2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons.
Two tablespoons, I think. 2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that seems
it's 2
right to me.
tablespoons of butter, and I just kind of like cut them up into pieces because then it will melt a little bit faster.
Well, that's a good pro tip.
Yeah. Otherwise you have a big old clump, you don't want that.
Yeah.
And then, now it says 1 to 2 cloves of garlic. My cloves were humongous. So what does your family like? Do they like a lot of garlic, like really garlicky?
Yeah,
or-
I think they're garlicky
Okay.
kind of people.
So go ahead and put your garlic in
Okay.
with your butter.
So garlic.
We're just gonna kind of saute that just a little bit.
I do know how to do this. I even know what that word means, saute.
Yeah, just kind of.
I love the smell of garlic and like when the garlic is,
Oh,
oh my
isn't that
gosh.
awesome?
Yes, it's so good.
Yeah.
Who else loves that?
Me. So her butter is melted, so now she needs to add her chicken
Okay.
into this buttery garlic sauce she's got going.
And that was, I probably should have shown you that. I think you could see when I dumped it in. It's already cut up into perfect bite-sized pieces.
Yeah, and you're gonna want them pretty uniform because you don't want some pieces extra big because you do not want to run the risk of some pieces not being done all the way.
Yeah.
That is just not good. And big pieces have a tendency sometimes to be a little bit, what's the word? Stringy kind of like.
Oh,
I don't.
yeah,
love it.
chicken
Yeah.
can get funny. Chicken is, I don't
You
know.
really want it done.
Yes.
Gina was just asking me about tips about cutting up her vegetables and such. Honestly, my biggest tip is to have a knife, a good knife. You want a really good chef knife that is that's sharp enough so that you don't hurt yourself. Most injuries are not from having too sharp of a knife, it's from having a dull knife and it slips off and cuts
Oh.
you. So,
I probably don't use the right knives either for the job. You know, I'm just like,
Oh,
oh, this
yeah,
one
no.
seems fine. And I just use that. And that's probably a good part of my problem.
Could be.
I mean, I really have a lot of problems in the kitchen. You're gonna be like, wow, you don't know anything.
It's all good. So you're just gonna wanna cook this chicken until it's no longer pink, until it's cooked all the way through. So Gina's just kind of stirring it around in there. And
Turn it over.
some of those, maybe the pieces that I didn't get cut as small as they should, once it starts looking like the chicken's getting done, you can kind of stab it, and see if it's done in the center. That's kind of what I do when I'm cooking it, just to make sure that they're as done as they need to be.
I really wish you guys could smell this because it smells heavenly.
You need smell-o-vision.
Yes, smell-o-vision. This is going great. So far, this is really easy.
Yeah. And we have in here about a pound of chicken, which is about 2 chicken breasts, roughly, depending on the size of the chicken breast. And it's surprising that just 1 pound of chicken goes a long way. Like, you can feed your family of 4 with just 2 chicken breasts because it's all cut up and you're gonna have all these veggies and stuff.
Oh yeah, and the noodles, the pasta.
Yeah. So you'll probably even have leftovers with this if you had a family of 4. If you have like a family of 6, probably be right there, or 5.
Yeah, right where it should be.
Yeah. So when we first started this, we started boiling our water for our pasta. So I'm gonna have a little word about pasta because it's now boiling. This is the pasta that I'm using, and it's rotini pasta. And this is just the regular pasta, okay? But there are options to this. And this is like, it's supposed to be 2 cups, but I've made 3 today. But there are vegetable, like a veggie version of this.
Ooh.
And you can't even taste the difference, guys. The only reason I didn't use that today is because it's not really pretty. It's kind of a funky kind of green color. But really, you can't even tell the difference. And they also have some gluten-free options now. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for pasta.
Now we got some heavy whipping cream.
1 pint.
1 pint. What should I do with this? Just pour it
And
in?
you're just gonna pour that in. I'm gonna turn down the heat a little. We don't want it too hot.
Just pour it in slowly.
Just pour it in slowly. You're gonna want like a heavy whipped cream. We want this to be a nice thick sauce, and the heavy whipped cream will help with that. I'm gonna get our veggies out of the microwave. Okay.
Okay.
You can add as many vegetables as you want. On the recipe, it says that the bag is between 12 and 16 ounces, but quite frankly, they've reduced the size of the bags now. So I did 2 bags of like 10 ounces, and so I've got like 20 ounces now of vegetables, and they just need to be thawed out. And so I put them in the microwave for a minute. They're ready, well, for about 3 minutes or so. They're all nicely thawed out, but they're not cooked.
Okay.
They just need to be cooked and stuff. So let's kind of put in this broccoli piece. Look at the size of this
I know.
sucker.
I hate it when they do that
Gosh.
because how can you eat that?
You can't. Look
You
at
can't.
that
Yeah.
cauliflower. We're gonna have to kind of.
We kind of.
Oh! I just splashed on her. Sorry.
It's all fine.
Is that too much veggie?
No, I think that's good.
I'm gonna do something gross there. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use
good.
that.
Oh. Okay, this is looking great. So good. And easy, easy peasy. You guys, if I can do this, which I totally can,
She's doing it, man.
I'm doing it. You can too. I'm telling you.
And so now she's just going to be cooking this until the veggies are tender. So the carrots are probably the thickest thing because
Oh,
the
yeah,
California blend vegetables have carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower in them. And those carrots are like that thick.
They're huge.
So that's what's going to take the most time.
Yeah, look at that. Can you see that one? It's huge and kind
It
of.
is. And typically they're not. Like, I wasn't really pleased with what I could find in the store.
Yeah.
We're kind of limited in our small town as to what we can find for ingredients sometimes. I'm just a little disappointed with what I found today at the store. So
Usually the carrots are smaller too. I
They
feel like in
are.
that California blend. These
Yeah.
some of these are huge.
these are humongous. Like they had, I don't even know.
Yeah, and I do wish
Potato
they
fare.
would cut the cauliflower and broccoli smaller. I found that lately. They're just huge pieces that you can't eat
Can't even
that.
function with. I mean, and what I do, and they're that size, I just take my little thing and I just kind of like stab them and break them up a little bit because they're just too big.
Yeah, and when you're, I mean, the reason that you buy those are for convenience, so you don't want to.
Yeah, you
have
don't
to
want to
cut
have to
'em
cut them
up.
all. That's why, yeah, that's why you didn't get fresh in the first place.
Yeah.
We want something quick and easy when we get home, and this is cooking, but cooking easy.
Yes.
So, man, those big carrots.
They are huge. I just can't get over how big some of them are. All right, so our vegetables are cooked all the way now.
Awesome.
We've been sauteing and cooking till they're done.
So once your veggies are all nice and done, and there should be a nice little aroma from the garlic and the
yes.
veggies and everything, now it's time to put in your salt and pepper. Now you do not want to jump the gun on your salt and pepper because people can go astray with this.
Oh.
When you're dealing with any kind of cream sauce and you put salt in it, you risk curdling your milk. And it's just a thing.
Okay. Because I would have
So-
put the salt and pepper in when I put the vegetables in.
Yeah, and sometimes that can curdle your milk. Not
Okay.
always, it just runs a risk of it because salt is a fickle little beast. I'm gonna turn that down a little. So
Okay.
go ahead and sprinkle that. And this
Okay.
is salt and pepper.
Combined.
Yeah, I just kind of combine them in a thing. You can do it however you want. And it's 1 teaspoon of salt and I think 1/4 of pepper.
Got a little wild in
Yes.
that corner.
So 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper.
Okay. That all stirred around.
And once you have that nicely combined, you're going to put in your cheese. Now, let's talk cheese. This calls for Parmesan cheese. Currently, with coronavirus, I can't find regular Parmesan in this town.
So weird. Like, why?
So this is Parmigiano Reggiano, which is a little nicer at $9 a square or a little triangle. So it'll be extra delicious.
Yes,
but
it will.
you can use, cheaper Parm. However, if I catch even one of you buying this green labeled craft business, I will personally come to your home and injure you. You really want to get a nice, little microplane grater and grate your own cheese. This one is a Pampered Chef. Plug for Pampered Chef. Great. You want that nice, really small little.
Oh, it's very fine.
It's very fine.
Yes.
And then when you put this in, put that in there. And then when you put this in, you're not going to just huck it in. This is a sprinkle. You're going to take your cheese and be a little chefy with it and
Okay.
sprinkle it around.
Okay.
Yes.
I leave that right there.
If you just clump this in here, you're going to have the clumpiest, gross stuff ever.
We don't want that.
No clumps, man.
So take the time to sprinkle it. That's probably something I
Sprinkle,
wouldn't do.
yeah, just kind of sprinkle it
Oh,
around.
it smells good. This is why I use this kind of cheese. It smells delicious.
Yes,
Oh.
this Parmesan is awesome. And then you've got the Parmigiano Reggiano. That's really nice.
Yes, what a, Make sure we get. Ooh,
And
it's
I
starting to get
believe
nice
that
and
that is 1.25 cups. And I've played around with this a lot to know that it's 1.25 cups. Now there's also some parm that you can buy in the store that's pre-shredded, that's very fine in the refrigerated section, and that is acceptable. However, I'm kind of a snob about it, and I like to do the microplaning myself. So at this point, you can see how the cheese is melting in.
Yes.
You want to get that nicely stirred up, and this is your Alfredo sauce. It's going to be, you can see how it's all turning to that nice Alfredo. It
Yes.
should smell great now.
it smells so great. Oh, so delicious.
And this would have gone even a lot faster if we had, if our veggies weren't among us.
Yeah. And she has the garlic bread cooking and the noodles, which are boiled and being strained right now as I mix this up.
Honestly, I forgot to set a timer for my garlic bread, so that's always a nice treat. Okay, let's get this put in.
Okay.
So I think that's
Okay.
pretty much done.
Perfect.
Let's put a little cover over that while we get everything ready.
Okay. Okay, so dinner was a huge success. We paired it with garlic bread and some Italian cream sodas, which were delicious. So the recipe will be posted. Let us know if you try it and what you think of it. It was, oh my gosh, it was so good and so easy.
Really easy. That
Yeah.
was like, I mean, it took a little longer than normal because the vegetables were kind of thicker, so it took a little longer to cook. But overall, it was like a half hour.
Yeah, super fast, super easy.
So you guys tell us what your go-to recipes are. How do you spice up your macaroni and cheese or whatever you're doing for your family to make it quick and easy and simple? Share some ideas with everybody else because we're trying to get back to normal right now, and it's kind of a learning curve, right?
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
I think it's a little bit more hectic in kids and parents with going back to school and going back to work. I think we're kind of bogged down more than normal because we have to figure out how to navigate it.
Yeah, we've kind of forgotten what that looks like.
Yeah, and it looks a little different right now.
It does look different than it used to. And so we can all help each other out.
Yeah, I
getting
think
there, cooking and making things or spicing it up. I like this, spicing up macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
And your go-to. So post those below. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we will see you next week, Tuesday, 7 a.m. for a new video.
All right, see you.
Okay, bye. This is going to be an adventure. I shouldn't look over at you. Okay. Okay. All right. I don't know. This probably isn't a great idea, but I'm going to do it because.
Okay. Including myself.